Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is October 1st. Happy October to everybody out there. Taking a look here at the infrared satellite imagery, you can see we've got the Bay Area there. There's Southern California. You can see the marine there moving around and pushing up towards the central coast here, right on the coastline. You also see some mid-level clouds out here across southern Arizona. That could kick off a thunderstorm today and trying to drift off to the east. This shouldn't be too big of a deal though. So let's take a look at what's to come here as we go through the video this morning. We've got some excessive heat, but we've also got some interesting stuff in the extended forecast that we'll take a look at as well. And if we look at the SPC, you can see it does have some of central and southern Arizona, including Phoenix and Tucson with that thunderstorm activity. And some of that might try to drift back towards the California border there, right along the Mexico border as well. Now, taking a look at the HRRR, this is a 12Z run composite reflectivity. You can see you got precip type and cloud coverage. So you can see the marine layer here this morning, probably overdoing that, obviously, across the Bay Area. You didn't see any of that low cloud activity there. But if we put this into its motions here, you can kind of see that shower activity develop across some of southern and central Arizona as we go through the day today. But that activity should be waning by the time it gets towards the California border there. So just a heads up for that if you're out of Blythe or some of southern Arizona. Taking a look at the region right now, we do have the excessive heat warnings, watches, advisories out there for much of the state of California, a lot of the desert areas as well. And if we take a look at Los Angeles National Weather Service, there are some elevated fire concerns out there. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's really the case with much of the state right now in this time of year. You can see Long Beach getting up towards 88 degrees and some pretty warm conditions. You can Big Pine Mountain 86, San Luis Obispo 102, not that far from the coastal region right there. And you can see up towards the Bay Area, all the way out to the coastline, Half Moon Bay Point rays are included in the heat advisory today. So yeah, the winds are lightly offshore, but that's enough to kind of keep that marine there at bay and allow things to warm up. You can see this one goes all the way on through 11 p.m. Wednesday. That's tomorrow. Taking a look at this, they highlight here across some of, just off to the east of Big Sur, across some of the higher terrain, but just going to keep this in mind across that region today. Fires could pop up here. And there's a bit of some gusty wind out there as well, some low relative humidity. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Taking a look at Sacramento Valley, of course, the heat advisory is in effect there. Redding, Chico, Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, Fairfield as well. So this goes all the way on through Wednesday night at least. Minor fire risk is in place here. San Joaquin Valley, again, just kind of mentioning that as well. You guys know the drill. Now look at Phoenix, Arizona. This is the wrap up for the monsoon season. You can see, we did get some precipitation, some moisture at times, about 3/4 of an inch. And you can see just how overwhelmingly warm the year 2024 was during the June 15th through September timeframe, just absolutely demolishing all other years. And you can see how we've been trending warmer here. And yeah, so I'll just leave it at that for now. I'll probably do a video to talk about some of this stuff off into the future. Gotta bite my tongue a little bit here. So looking at Needles, California, record high for yesterday was 108. It's probably hard to see that here, but if we check and see what we did yesterday, 110 degrees, beat that old record by 2 degrees, and we wrapped up that month of September there above average for Needles, California. This is for Phoenix. 107 was the record yesterday. What did we do? 107. So we tied it there yesterday, and just an exceedingly warm month, 5.4 degrees above normal. That is extreme record breakage there. And you can see we did get one little trace of precipitation on the 16th, no measurable precip there. Also, max gust was 37 miles per hour. If we take a look at Las Vegas, Nevada for yesterday, you can see Las Vegas set their all-time daily record high. Needles, California, as I mentioned, Barstow 104 was a record high, Kingman 100 a record high, and Desert Rock 101 also a record high. Now, this is interesting because I used to live out here in Tonopah, Nevada, and there's actually a few thousand people that live out here, but Goldfield is largely a ghost town, and I find it interesting that somebody has a weather station out there in Goldfield. I know there is a few people that live out there, but yeah, it's a pretty interesting area out there, but nobody in Tonopah has one. So I clicked on that station for Goldfield. You can see the wind is updating. The station is up and running there, so kudos to whoever has that weather station up there. And it looks like it actually picked up a little bit of rain yesterday. I don't know. I haven't looked and see if that verifies, but you can see the solar radiation just starting to peak there as the sun just begins its trek above the horizon. If you want one of those stations, click on the link down below to save 10% off. Highly recommend them. Very good for the price. So let's take a look at what is to come. This is last night's GFS model run. I'll put this into motion, and you can see the ridge just dominating the west coast here for the most part. We got systems moving through British Columbia, but those largely have no impact on the state of California or the Southwest. As we scroll off into the extended forecast, see the Gulf of Alaska is fairly active, but those systems, again, having trouble to make any impact on the state of California. Then we develop this tropical storm down here. The European is also showing it. The National Hurricane Center even calling some attention to this as well. And if we take a look at this on the GFS, it wants to move it up as a fairly robust tropical system towards Baja California there. Then it wants to creep it a bit north even more and maybe up towards, Arizona, California. We'll see what that has in store for us, but we're looking over 10 days out at this point. It's just something off in fantasy land that we'll be keeping our eye on. No need at all to be concerned about that just yet. If we take a look at the European, the artificial intelligence run as of yesterday afternoon, we'll watch that, and the ridge dominating here. System kind of swings to the Pacific Northwest. That might be kind of a blustery fall system there, early October stuff. But again, not much effect on the Southwest USA. And then you can see that tropical system that will be trying to form out here as well. And then the European also shows some frontal system potential as we go on in towards mid-October. So we'll be watching that closely also. That would be a very nice sight to start to see show up in the models, bring a nice frontal system here as we go to the mid portions of October. And here I was checking on the National Hurricane Center. You can see the potential for development here off the coast of Mexico there, and then drifting off to the west-northwest. Now, taking a look at yesterday afternoon's European model, I just want to show you guys here again here, just for some kind of hope out into the extended forecast. There's that tropical system. The European does show it. You see the systems continue to move through the Pacific Northwest, and then some of these frontal systems as we get towards mid-October there. Take that with a grain of salt, of course, but it is just kind of nice to see some activity in the extended forecast, and then another one at the very end of the run. But those are looking, 10, 15 days out. So, of course, you just take that with a grain of salt. Just a fantasy forecast at this time. Taking a look here at the smoke. This is the high resolution rapid refresh, and I believe that is the happy fire and the line fire that are still producing some smoke. You can see that still bubbling and drifting around out there. And in fact, since there is quite a bit of it, let me just go ahead and take a look at the surface smoke and just see how bad that is. Kind of relegated towards where the fires are located out there, but you may be smelling some of that surface smoke. And again, you know which fires those are kicking off some of that activity here as we go through today. And again, there's the happy fire there and the line fire. The happy fire isn't too exceptionally big. It's just over 1,000 acres as of 2 days ago, but it may be growing still right now. I don't know. They haven't updated this. Doesn't look like. So anyway, looking at the 2-meter temperature anomaly, of course, the big story here across a lot of the Southwest is the extreme heat we are undergoing and will be continuing to undergo. This is the 10-day running average. I showed this also yesterday, and this is the update. And if I put this in motion, again, 10-day running average, look at the West is just dominated by this heat. California, no exception there as well. So not looking at a lot of relief, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. And if we take a look at the 2-meter temperature anomaly, this is just a 1-day running average here, and you can kind of see this. Some of these systems swinging through the Pacific Northwest, but for the most part, not much of an effect on California. But if we go out far enough, you can kind of see a little bit of relief potentially coming here as we go way off in towards mid-October. But again, no promises on that. Just a fantasy forecast. Looking at the mean sea level pressure, you can see why even places towards the coastal areas are warming up. We've got this offshore component here. It is, fairly weakly offshore, but for the most part, it's not allowing the marine layer to cool down some of the coastal areas, and that's why those excessive heat warnings and heat advisories are out for much of the region. And here's the high temperatures for today. You can see you don't have to go that far inland to get some very warm temperatures. Look at this 106, some of the coastal range all the way down through some of the central coast. The deserts are very warm. San Joaquin, Sacramento Valley. We go through Wednesday. Again, another very warm day. Very slight cool down here as we go towards the end of the week, but take anything we can get. And then if we go way off towards October, 8th, 9th, and 10th, there's a little bit of a sign of some potential of a cool down coming in here. So yeah, we would definitely take that. And if we take a look at the last week, these temperatures 10 to 15 degrees, when it's already pretty warm across some of the region, are very extreme. We have been well above average for a lot of the western portion of the lower 48, except for the coastal regions of San Diego, Orange, Los Angeles, Ventura, and Santa Barbara counties there. So yeah, a lot of people do live there, but you can see you don't have to go far inland to get above average temperatures. And look at the 6 to 10 day. This was put out yesterday. This above average signal just dominates much of the west, below normal across a lot of the central portions, and hopefully we can start to get some precipitation in here before too long. 8 to 14 day, no exception there as well. So yeah, anyway, we'll continue to watch for that potential for frontal systems way off into the extended forecast. We'll keep breaking down just how long this heat is going to be lasting. Right now, maybe a cool down here as we start to move on into the first, maybe after October 8th or so. It looks like the cool down, you may start to notice that here as we go. So anyway, wish I had a little bit better news on that front. We'll continue to watch that tropical system down there also. Hope you guys are having a good day. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.